Hey guys, it's Elisa Ace, a spiritual evidential medium connecting you to your family, friends, and pets in spirit. Welcome back to another video. That's always a mouthful right out of the gate. It's Christmas time. Still have my tree up. It was yesterday. So anyways, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about my experience with animal communication. So I have been nervous to try animal communication, which means communicating and connecting to pets that are alive. So for those of you who don't know, I am a developing evidential medium. I've been doing it for several years. Connect to people's family, friends, and pets in spirit. But I've always been too nervous to try connecting to pets that are alive. And I think that was probably just in my own mind. I was just psyching myself out. And it reminds me of when I used to be too nervous a long time ago to try animal mediumship. I only wanted to connect to people in spirit. The thought of connecting to pets was very intimidating to me. And I was practicing with this woman, and I brought that up. I was practicing with another medium, which I do on a regular basis. And I mentioned to her that I would be interested in doing animal mediumship, but I'm just too intimidated, too scared. And she said, well, you kind of should be, because it's nothing like mediumship. It's nothing like mediumship with people. Connecting to pets in spirit is completely different, and you have to do it in a very specific way. You have to take my classes and I will teach you. And she was just putting a very negative spin on it. And as she was talking, like everything in my gut was telling me like, I don't think she's right. And so just like I said in my last video about people's spiritual ego, the whole video is about the spiritual ego. Always listen to your gut. Always listen to your intuition, because you have a brain in your head, but you also have a brain in your gut, like literally. Your gut produces serotonin, the whole nine. So always listen to your gut and intuition when somebody's teaching you or somebody's claiming something or telling you something, because in my opinion, she was not correct. Animal mediumship, connecting to people's pets in spirit, is basically the same as connecting to people. Slightly different, kind of, sort of, but not really. It's pretty much the same. So I am so glad that I did not listen to her. And turns out, so I'm brand new with animal communication, but so far, it's basically exactly like mediumship. I am connecting to the pet that's alive. I'm connecting to their consciousness, and in some cases to their higher self. So it's still telepathy. I'm still communicating with their soul. They're just in their physical body, not in their spirit body, which might make it even easier if you think about it, because when they go to spirit, they are vibrating much, much higher than we are. Because on Earth, the vibration is slow and dense and low, whereas souls that are in spirit, whether they be people or animals, are vibrating so much higher than us. So they have to kind of work to lower their vibration to connect with me, and I have to work to raise my vibration, and we kind of meet somewhere in the middle. So with that theory, I think that animal communication might even be easier. But nevertheless, that was a long way of saying that so far with my experience, it has been just like mediumship. So I had some practice sessions, and then I had my first professional animal communication reading. It was with a woman who I've already had one or maybe even two mediumship readings with. And she's really cool. She's really laid back, so I felt very comfortable with her. Me being very comfortable with her was the perfect atmosphere for me to do my first professional animal communication reading. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my experience because I'm so super excited. So I connected to her two living dogs and to her horse. And I have never communicated yet with a horse in spirit. So this was my first horse, period. I don't know anything about horses. So it was very interesting. So I first connected with her older dog, who was telling me that she either put clothes on him or accessories on him. I wasn't sure exactly which one. And she said yes, an accessory. And I said, a necklace? And she said yes. And then the next thing he told me is, I'm twins with the other dog. And so racked my brain a little bit, and I said, we're twins with the other dog, after he just told me that you put accessories on him. did you buy the same necklace for the other dog, who's a puppy, by the way? And she said, yes, they have matching necklaces, which is, how adorable is that the older dog is telling me that he matches. I mean, it's so cute. And I will put a picture up here right now so that you can see it. Doing animal communication, and I just started, has broadened my horizon so much to the psyche, to the needs and desires of animals, and how in depth their needs are, how complex they are, and how they are individuals. They're basically just like humans, but furry. Maybe not quite as advanced, but still very much like people. It kind of blew my mind in a way, and I'm a huge animal lover, right? So this is something that I've put thought into. I stopped eating meat when I was 15. Like, I've definitely thought about animals being sentient and how, they feel all the same emotions that we feel: love, fear, sadness, happiness, all of this. And how they love their offspring and they want to, bond with their kids, with their offspring. I've thought about all of this kind of stuff, which is, the reason why I stopped eating meat at 15. But even so, even with being a big of an animal lover as I am, I still had my perspective blown doing this animal communication. I guess sometimes we can, I don't want to say gloss over, but we can kind of have this like blanket perspective of pets, that they need food, they need shelter, they need a little bit of attention, kind of like just like the basics. And we don't think that because they can't articulate it to us, they can't communicate it to us with language. And we sometimes just assume that they maybe don't have as complex needs and desires as we do. Not true. So this older dog of hers told me that she has had him since he was a puppy. He told me that she dreams about him and his brother, meaning the puppy dog, the other dog. And so how does this dog know that she's dreaming of them? So is it his higher self telling me this? It must be, unless dogs are like completely psychic. I always tended to think that cats were more, psychic in that way. So I feel like my intuition's telling me that it was probably the dog's higher self that has this knowledge of the fact that she's dreaming of them currently. Just crazy. I mean, just really opened my eyes to, just broaden my perspective. And so that's why I tell people, always be willing to learn, always be willing to change your mind. At any age, you can have your perspective widened or even, altered or changed if you're open-minded enough. Then the dog told me that she was teaching him tricks. And I thought, well, isn't this the old dog? And she said, well, because we have a puppy, we're teaching the puppy new tricks and manners. And so we didn't want to leave the older dog out. So we're also teaching him. And the older dog was telling me that he felt proud of himself. How adorable is that the dog is telling me he's proud of himself because maybe at his older age or whatever, that he's learning new tricks. So cute. Then he told me parrots. And so I said, can your dog see or hear parrots? And she said, yes, absolutely. They can see them from the windows. And she lives in a tropical environment, by the way. So one thing I've noticed is that animals, especially in, because I have done a lot of pet mediumship, but this is the beginning of my animal communication journey. But it's the same thing. Pets always tell me the little details about their lives, because the little things are very important to them, because they do have much more limited lives than we do. Some pets never really get to leave the house. So they don't get to go on walks. Their house is their whole world. And even if they do get to go on walks or get to go on car rides and stuff, their house is still like the majority of their life experience. So they notice all the little things, like telling me that that they get to see parrots. Or I did a reading with with a man, and it was his dog in spirit. And the dog told me, I can see lizards. And I thought that was a little strange. And he said, well, I live, I think it was Florida, so kind of like tropical environment. And he said, geckos get into my house all the time. So my dog gets to see and chase lizards / geckos. So I'm like, wow. So anyways, the little things are really important to pets, whether they're already in spirit or whether you're communicating with them while they're still alive. Then her older dog told me that he misses her dog that passed away, the dog in spirit. So the older dog was around when her dog in spirit was still alive. I don't think the puppy was there yet, but the older dog was. And when he told me he missed him, I thought how interesting, because people ask me sometimes about, like, do my current pets, miss my pets that have passed? Can they see my pets that have passed? And, there's a lot of theories that say that cats most definitely can see the spirit world. I've had cats my entire life. They are always looking at nothing, right? They're looking in the ceiling and, going like this, and there's nothing there. So there's a lot of folklore and stories and, theories that cats can definitely see the spirit world. And I think animals in general are definitely more sensitive to being able to sense or see or feel those in spirit. So just like small children are, I think they're very similar in that capacity. But even though they may be able to feel or maybe sometimes see the pets that have passed, that doesn't mean that they don't miss their physical presence, right? Because it's not the same. It's not, they're no longer playing and wrestling, and you know what I mean? So it's not the same. So just like us, I definitely think that they can miss their physical presence for sure. And this dog was telling me that he missed the other dog. Then the dog told me, I don't want the door shut. And so when they tell me something, usually like a block of information comes along with it, like a block of energy that has information in the block. Anyway, it's hard to explain. So I asked her, I said, is there a door? Because I knew it wasn't the front door that he was talking about. I'm like, is there a door in your house that you always keep shut? And she said, yes. Is the spare bedroom. So that it's probably like an average size house, right? So there's only so many places that the dog can roam in the house, right? And she said, yes, I always keep the extra bedroom door closed. And when I do open it, he immediately runs in there and lays down as if he wants to hang out in there. And I'm like, that's validation, because he literally just told me I don't want the door shut. And so my guess, and I don't know for sure, right? But my guess is that because there's only so many places they can go in their house, and their house is their whole world, they want access to every part of the house. So it's just fascinating. Then he told me that he is well taken care of, but that he doesn't want to compete. And I didn't know exactly what he meant by that, but then he said something about the puppy. And I thought, okay, because in mediumship, you sometimes have to put things together like puzzle pieces, like you're playing charades, literally. And so I asked her, does he seem jealous maybe or insecure since you got the puppy? And she said, I don't think so, because we really try to make sure, or she said, at least I try to really make sure that I give him attention when I give the puppy attention. And I thought, well, just so you're aware, he is bringing it up, but he is mentioning your partner, your husband's, he's mentioning your husband when he brings this up. So I feel like what he's saying is that he wants more attention from your husband. And she said, yeah, that would make sense. So, so basically the dog is just like a child who is seeing the new baby maybe get like a lot of attention, and they're like, well, hey, what about me? So they just have these very complex needs, and they're just furry little people, basically, in my opinion. So then I connected to her second dog, who said, I'm a baby. So his way of telling me that he was a puppy. And then he said curly hair. And so I asked her, and she said, yes, he's got curlyish, wavyish hair. And then he told me, I can't remember because this is a couple weeks now, so I can't remember exactly how he said it, but basically he was giving me all these words that I was putting together that were telling me he doesn't like when she's on the phone. And she said, I have a nighttime routine, like most people, right? She has a nighttime routine where when she gets done with all her stuff, she, hops in the bed and whatever, and gets on her phone. And that the puppy will be like rolling, next to her and like nudging her and like wanting to play, like playing by himself, right? And wanting to play. And he does that when she's on her phone. And I thought, wow, he's telling me like, get off your phone, get off your phone, Mom. It's crazy. So then the puppy told me that she's gone during the day and he misses her. And I said, okay, so first of all, do you work, and do you work outside of the house? Because not all women, some women are, stay-at-home moms, or they work from home or whatever. And she said, yes, I work, and I work outside of the house. I said, okay, because he's telling me that you leave during the day, he misses you, and that he sits on a chair in front of a window waiting for you, watching for you, and that the chair is by the door, and that while he waits, he can see the birds, the parrots that the other dog mentioned. And she said, yes. And then after the reading, she sent me the picture of him, and I'll put it right here, right now, of him in the chair, where she sits and waits for him. Just, oh my God, just so adorable. And the whole time that I'm piecing everything together and it's correct and she's validating it, I'm just inside, get so excited, because I'm realizing in the moment that, that the process is just like mediumship. And maybe it's not like that for every other animal communicator, but for me, it's just like mediumship, which I've been doing for years. So I'm so excited about that. So every time I'm piecing it together, I'm just like so excited while it's happening in the moment. So anyways, the other thing that the puppy told me is that she took him to a drive-through, because he said, go in the car. And then he said, she pays and she gets something that crinkles. That's what he was telling me. So I'm like having to piece these together. I'm like, okay, so they go in a car. She pulls up and pays, and she gets I'm like, a drive-thru. It has to be a drive-thru. I'm like, do you eat a lot of fast food? Do you go to fast food? And she was like, no. And so that was my brain, though, making an assumption. And every time I make an assumption in my readings, always wrong. I never learned that lesson to don't assume. My teachers always told me, just say it how you got it. Like, give it how you got it. So I should have said, can you understand him telling me that you take him somewhere in a car and you pay for something, so some kind of drive-through? I shouldn't have said fast food, because it turns out it was Starbucks. And I said, well, Starbucks is coffee. Do you get food from Starbucks? I don't go to Starbucks. I've been to Starbucks in 10 years. And I said, do you get food from Starbucks? So if this is correct, he's telling me that you get handed a bag of something that crinkles, so it's got to be food. And she said, yes, we get sandwiches from Starbucks, and we get him the thing with the cup, pup cup, and that he loves it so much. And then after the reading, she sent me a little video, and I'll put that here right now so that you can see. She said that she only sometimes she brings it home for him, but she actually only took him with her to do that a couple of times. And so basically he was telling me, like, I want to go. Like, that was exciting for me. Again, if the majority of your life is your house, and you're a dog, how exciting would it be if mom's like, come on, let's get in a car. So number one, you get to go on a car ride. And then she said that he goes nuts when she pulls up to the window. Like, she said he goes so nuts that he's like trying to get out of her driver's side window, I guess, to get to the person, the cashier. So he's a puppy. So like, that was like super exciting for him. So I'm like, you got to take him more. Take him every time you go to Starbucks. So next and lastly was her horse. Which I was nervous about because I don't know anything about horses and never connected to a horse in spirit. But it was an awesome experience. Not easy, right? I mean, I did get several pieces of evidence, but my style is a little bit slow. So, it takes a while, but we get there. You know what I mean? And I'm not somebody who rushes my readings and stuff. So the horse was telling me little things like she gives me baths. And the horse lives like at a stable, and she said there's a man there that takes care of the horses, who teaches the horses tricks and that kind of stuff. And I said, but your horse is telling me that you bathe him. Do you bathe him, or does the guy that works at the stable? She said, no, I bathe her. Sorry, it's a girl. I said, okay, because that's what I'm hearing, that you bathe her, and that the bath feels very refreshing for her. And then the horse told me that she was picky. And I didn't know exactly what she was picky about, but then I got an image in my mind's eye of the horse stomping its foot. So it told me I'm picky, and then she showed me in my mind's eye stomping her foot. And so when I asked my client, she just started cracking up, saying she's crazy for carrots. She only wants carrots. She doesn't want the apples or, the other snacks. She wants carrots, and she will like kick the door to her stable thing when she wants carrots. And I thought, well, that's not exactly what I saw though. I saw her stomping her foot. So I was a little bit disappointed that I saw it wrong until after the reading, when she sent me the video of her feeding her horse carrots and she's not kicking the door. So there must have been some kind of misunderstanding there. Or she must have been thinking about something else. The horse was literally stomping its foot while she was giving it carrots. So I did see it correctly. And so I'll put the video or the picture here right now so that you can see. So that was so awesome and exciting for me. And she told me, keep the carrots coming, keep them coming, which was just funny. So now horses have a sense of humor. Well, I thought it was, maybe she probably wasn't trying to be funny. She probably was not joking. She was probably very serious. Like, I want more carrots. I want them all the time. And I just thought it was funny. So anyways, so the horse also told me that she was in her prime. And I asked her, is that true? And she said, yes. I think she said she was around 4 years old. She told me that my client brushes her hair, bathes her, told me that she loves kisses. And then after the reading, she sent me a picture of her giving the horse kisses, which is so cool. I'll put that in the video here too as well. Let's see. The horse said that she wants to be with her more, wants more playtime, more bonding. And she said that she wants to go home with her. And so I said, what's the deal with that? And she said, well, the stables used to be like 45 minutes away and she didn't get to see her very often. And then she moved her much closer to her house, I think like 15 minutes away now or something. So she gets to see her more often. But that she doesn't live at her house, but that's the plan. They're working towards having whatever they need, the stables and stuff on their property, so that she could have the horse there with her. So I thought that was super cute too. And then the horse told me that I'm going to have a baby, and I thought that was interesting. And she said, we do plan to breed her. Not yet, but we are going to breed her. And so again, is that information coming from the horse's higher self? It's just so fascinating to me. So the horse was kind of showing me that she does have some trust issues, because she had previous owners and she was kind of moved around a few times, and she told me someone pushed her. And there was some indication that there was, wherever she was at before my client owned her, there was a man who wasn't so nice, or who was super strict or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was all fitting when I was asking her, does this make sense, everything that I'm hearing? So she was basically saying, like, I'm not quite ready to be ridden yet. She wasn't saying this word for word. This is what I'm piecing together through a combination of images in my mind's eye, so my clairvoyance, through blocks of energies, so that's my clairsentience, and also through my clairaudience, which is my strongest clair, and that's through my hearing. So I'm hearing words, phrases, that kind of thing, and it sounds kind of like a thought. So I wish it was as simple as just hearing, just paragraph after paragraph flowing freely as if, I'm on the phone with somebody. Wish it was like that. Sometimes I do hear things, one or two, three complete sentences. Love when that happens, but that's definitely not all the time. So it's not easy. It's not easy. That's why mediumship and animal communication takes years to develop. But the horse did tell me that she does trust my client, and I got that information through my clairvoyance, so through a picture in my mind, an image in my mind's eye. And in the image, the horse had her eyes closed, and I could see my client close to her. And so I was explaining this, asked, is this correct? Does this make sense? And she said, I can tell that she has really grown in trusting me, and I do this technique. I forgot exactly what she called it, but I guess people who have horses, there's this thing they do where you can like gently like cover their eyes with your hand and like pet them or whatever, so that they can't see you, but they're learning that they can trust you even when they can't see you, that kind of thing. And so that's what she thinks that was with the horse showing me her with her eyes closed and showing me that she felt like she could trust her. So it was just a really great experience. I hope that in the future my animal communication readings go the same or better. It's such a pleasure, to be working with my clients that love their pets so much. I mean, she cares so much about her dogs and her horse and her dog that's in spirit. I mean, just such a loving mother who treats them just like human children. And I just love it. I I love animal lovers, and I love working with animal lovers, and I just feel very grateful for what I do. And I just wanted to end on, what I talked about in the beginning about how my perspective has been broadened as far as realizing that they're very complex. And even though they can't communicate through language, they still have an array of emotions and needs and wants. And with that, I just urge everybody to keep that in mind for sure if you have pets, and just do whatever you can, little tiny things to make their experience better while they're here on Earth, right? Because they're here for such a short time, and the little things mean a really big deal to them, because again, their lives are, more limited than ours. And even if you don't have a lot of money, and you, like, let's say you can't afford the best quality food, brand of food or whatever, do what you can. Take them on more walks, take them on car rides, let them on the furniture. Leave music on for them. Not your heavy metal or anything, because animals are, sensitive to frequencies and stuff. So leave on, classical music or spiritual music, or, something that's high vibrational for them. Leave music on for them, not super loud, but, leave, if you have cats, like leave, on YouTube, they have bird videos that are like 8 hours long. Leave a bird video on so they don't feel lonely, especially if they're by themselves. Dogs might like that too. There's squirrel videos. Get them toys. Like just do what you can. Just as many little things as you can to enrich their lives. So so I'll go ahead and stop there. If you'd like to book a reading with me, a mediumship reading or an animal communication reading, go ahead and message me on my Facebook mediumship page, which will be linked at the top of the comments below. I do my readings over video call, Facebook Messenger video call, to connect to a family member, a friend, or a pet in spirit, or a pet that is alive. If you message me, please don't tell me any details about your person or pet. I don't want to know anything. I like to know nothing beforehand so that I'm able to give you pieces of evidence. And thanks for listening. Please leave me a comment. Make sure to subscribe. You got to hit the bell notification. If you don't hit the bell notification, my channel will disappear into a YouTube oblivion and you'll never see me again. So please hit the bell so that you're notified when I make a new video. Please leave me a comment. It helps my channel so much. I appreciate you guys. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.